It goes to the deepest side of yourself, who you are. And we all wrestle with that through our lives. So really, writing per se is an ongoing, it's a labor, it's a conflict, it's a process. I wrote, as a 20-year-old, very passionately about anguish, and my own anguish. And I was destined in some way not to be a writer because the book was turned down. But I went on to put that passion into my first short film at NYU. It was called Last Year in Vietnam. It was about 11 to 12 minutes long, black and white, cheap, with a French soundtrack, and written, spoken by my ex-wife. Marty Scorsese, my teacher, said that that's a filmmaker to the class, and that was perhaps the most inspiring thing I heard as a young man. I'm not a director who will sit there with a train set and tell you how everything was put together. I loved the result, but I'm much more excited by the process of self-expression. The audience won't follow literature, they'll drop literature. Pretty soon they'll probably drop movies, to watch TV. We'll all be watching Survivor or Lost. And that is the trend, let's say. That is the trend, and that's where I feel a lot of young people who have lowered their standards in terms of what they perceive as narrative now. Perhaps they're not as rigorous, as trained in reading narrative, but they accept narrative, and narrative runs over a huge TV chunk, and it's always, there's a certain narrative that works. It's a popular mainstream narrative, and it's, in my opinion, it's not, as you know from my films, I don't think it's right, and it doesn't fit reality that I know. And of course, that's that angle of not fitting has been part of my problem with the general mainstream reactions to the film. And I think that part of the sanity is writing about other people and forgetting about yourself and trying to get past ego to an egolessness. But do it. I mean, ass plus seat, I once said. You got to put your ass in the seat. That is writing. Even if you don't deliver, you got to do a certain amount of time. It's like jail time or something. You just got to do it, and by you bang it out. Because it's ultimately about the secrets inside Richard Nixon and the way we lie to ourselves, the way we deceive ourselves. I find that a fascinating subject. It was given to me, it was a shot between the eyes. The Port Authority survived under very tough conditions, and they were rescued by many people, 5 people, 10 people. So the more I find out about the rescue, the more complicated it gets, And certain people don't like other people. Isn't that the way the world works? Even if you're rescued, sometimes you end up making an enemy of your rescuer. I didn't know that. But anyway, I don't know what the rest is. The griefs I left you. I'm sorry, man.
I know that there are times in which you actually rewrite right there as you're making the film.
Yeah.
And
these notes. That's from today, probably. These are all ongoing decisions that have to be made in the next few days. And writing, directing, production design, money, all decisions. And I was in Morocco. I gave Christopher Plummer an entire new scene with he had to learn about 65 lines. And he looked at the material and I said, you don't have to do it. I learned this by research last night. Somebody called me from Oxford and said, this is what he actually would have said. So everything changed in the scene. And I said, you can do it the old way, but I just have to make you aware of this happening.
So you gave him that option?
She said, no problem, old man. I've done plenty of it. He walked out there, 75 years old, the hottest sun. And he read those lines. He lived those lines. He was those lines until the sunstroke hit him around 2 o'clock. and he became King Lear. Some movie stars can't handle it. But I do believe that if you have intelligence, if you can make the person understand that it's better, most people will dedicate themselves to change. Some actors are nervous beyond belief, no matter what. Even if they rehearse 100 times, they're just nervous. Until they get it out of their system, and then when they do it, they're the happiest people in the world. Most people learn dialogue fast, except maybe for Bruce Willis. And self-expression, if you have a heart and things to say, and not everyone does, but some of you do, and it's overflowing your heart, especially when you're young, and you don't know what to do with all that energy, you know, and sometimes you put it into love affairs or hobbies or obsessions.